Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the Brawl for All Pro Wrestling Show. It's your host, Jeff Jaros here, episode 26, and I am joined once again here by Jeff Crow this week. What's up, man?
Not much. We're glad to be here this week once again.
Yep. Are you ready to go over Raw? We're going to give predictions for Payback this week, make our predictions. Jason actually sent some in, too, that I'm going to read off. And then we're going to go over notes, news, headlines. Sound good, Jeff?
Sounds like it.
I want to thank everybody who has recently subbed or liked us on Facebook and listened to the show. We do notice and we appreciate all the feedback and the support, and I want to thank everybody for that. Make sure any new listeners subscribe or like us on Facebook, and make sure to leave any comments, questions, anything you got. So let's get started with Raw then, man.
Let's go.
The show opened with a limousine pulling up and Triple H stepping out. What'd you think of that beginning there? Kind of reminiscent of old Attitude Era when Vince used to step out like that.
Yeah, show his feet.
So Triple H did return tonight. No Stephanie, though.
No, it was Vince fashion.
I also got a note that they went from $3.57 million to $3.69 million from last week, so that's good that they jumped up from that record low they had then last week.
Yeah, that like almost had to.
It was the record from this year, the lowest they've had of 2015.
It would have been bad if it would have been worse.
Yeah, so they did jump up, and actually Triple H helped in the ratings. They actually gained viewership when he was on, so I think the final Payback pay-per-view hype helped too, though. So
right.
When we get to the other segment, I'll tell you about it. Up the viewership again. So
yeah, well, if you probably wanted to hear what Triple H had to say about everything going on, so that probably helped.
That's right. It probably did help. Triple H been off for a while. See, that's what I'm saying. It's better when they have them off for a while and you haven't seen them, and then when they're on, it makes it more special and people want to tune in and see what's going on.
Exactly.
If they're on there every week, it's just like, gosh.
Here they come again.
Okay, so the show kicks off with Triple H coming out. He says, it's funny, he says, Daddy's home, even to his children, and immediately they behave better. He talked about Kane and Rollins and said he leaves for a few weeks and people can't do what they ask him to do. He's not about to watch it unfold due to someone's ego. They're clearing the air once and for all, and calls Kane and Seth to the ring. Seth came out and says that they're on the same page and that he agreed with everything that Triple H said. He says he can't function with Kane around. He talked about Kane being jealous because he's the man. Talked about how Kane screwed him, adding stars to his match, making it a four-way. Talked about how he doesn't have to be pinned to lose the title. He said Kane isn't fit to be director of operations and he's not the same anymore, and says it's about time that they take him out back and put him out of his misery like that old dog. I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
It was. Kane came out then, and Kane said that with age comes wisdom, and he should grab him by his turkey neck and choke slam him straight to hell. They started arguing, and Triple H stopped him and says, Kane, you know I respect you, but they need to get on the same page, and says Seth can get irritating to the point that you want to punch him in the face, which I thought was funny.
Right.
But you don't, because it's best for business. He said if Rollins doesn't walk out a Payback champion, Kane's services may no longer be needed. So then, Kane says he's sorry he feels that way, but Rollins gets going again, and Triple H has to break him up and says he needs to let him know right now if he should part ways with the authority or what, Kane. And then he says he knows that that's not what they want, and announces that all four are going to be in matches later from the Fatal 4-Way. And he said that he needs to know that Kane's invested in the authority. So they had Kane versus Reigns, Rollins versus Orton, then the main event, and then Noble got all mad. This was forever, by the way, and I have something to say.
Yeah.
Noble got all pissed off and talked about how Rollins is getting screwed and that he's the man and he's not being treated fairly. Well, Triple H, made a couple wisecracks about how small he is and actually got down on his knees to their level and says there's another participant who needs competition right now, and he gets on his knees and calls them little men. And then he announced Ambrose versus J&J Security is next. So
I got something funny about that.
That was long and drawn out, but man, you could tell Triple H was back with that long ass kickoff promo that I always hate.
But I know something funny when he got down and was talking to Noble.
Right.
When I rewatched, I seen Rollins was in the background, and all of a sudden I seen him start to look like he was starting to laugh. He smiled, then he covered his mouth like he was scratching his chin or his lip.
Like he was laughing.
Because he was fucking
Dude, if you haven't seen that opening segment, I mean, I didn't get it all noted down, but he did call him...
Watch it again. I think Kane was even just standing there smiling. He couldn't even hide it.
I think I posted the clip on the Facebook page. Right. You know, he did call him little men, and...
That was something I just noticed. Rollins started to laugh and covered his mouth.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say, too, Triple H was like, sorry, are you still here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say that, too. So, going on from that, we had Dean Ambrose and JJ Security, and Ambrose beat them both as he hit a Dirty Deeds on Noble and got the pin. So, just a follow-up to the opening segment, making Ambrose look strong going into the match, being able to beat two competitors. But, man, I'm telling you what, J&J Security is weak. I've got a great idea, too. Baron Corbin's down in NXT not doing much, and he could make a great bodyguard or a security figure for somebody like Rollins, because he does have that cool factor like Rollins does, too. I think they could fit and be like a Michaels Diesel combination.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. It'd be perfect. We thought maybe Kaz, but I don't think you can separate him and Enzo.
You can't separate him and Enzo, and what a natural feud that would be between those two and Rollins and Corbin.
Yeah. I mean, what else do they got to do with Corbin right now?
They aren't doing much. Yeah.
I mean,
it don't look like he's going to be getting the belt down there. He's somebody they need to just bring up.
He's not in the belt mix. He's just...
He fits the WWE mold better than the NXT mold, being a big dude. So, do you think J&J's weak like I do? I mean, I just kind of do.
They are. I mean, they're decent in the ring. I mean, but they're just, again, they're in there with, all these big guys, so it's
just like, did you really think he had a chance against Ambrose?
No, I mean...
Or they had a chance?
And they're not even wrestling gear. It's, it's like...
It's ridiculous, yeah. It's bad. Well, they did kind of just get tossed in at the match not knowing they were going to wrestle, so I seen why they weren't in the gear.
Right. They wrestled decent. I would give them that for...
Oh, they're both good wrestlers, but they need to be, like, training people, not...
But it was just... Yeah.
Being any kind of security figure on TV is crazy for them. I mean, is it a joke or what?
If they're not going to wrestle, don't have them in there wrestling a 2-on-1 handicap.
Well, yeah, I just see that that's a great spot for Corbin, too, so.
Right.
Get him in there. So, no shocker, Ambrose winning Dirty Deeds. He'll come back later on in the show, make an impact. So, going on from there, we had Ziggler versus King Barrett. King Barrett won via Bullhammer. We had Sheamus with the new haircut, got rid of the old mohawk, the old mop top. He still kind of got a mop top, though, in my opinion.
I don't know if it's because he had the hat on or...
No, because I don't know. The interview later, he had the hair the same. We'll see if he has the mohawk.
We'll be on SmackDown.
Okay.
He'll probably be on there, I'm sure, so...
Okay, yeah, that's right. SmackDown hasn't aired yet since then.
No, it's taped tonight, so we'll find out.
Okay, so I'm interested to see if he keeps his hair like that and stops using the old mohawk.
Yeah.
Because it did look ignorant, so... Sheamus attacked Ziggler after the match, and Ziggs fought back, but he got hit with a bro kick, and then Sheamus says, "Are you not entertained?" The old Gladiator line. So we're going to have Ziggs and Sheamus at the pay-per-view. That's just building that up. King Barrett with a good win, though.
Yeah, I like Barrett.
He did cut a demeaning promo on Ziggler, too, before the match, so to note.
He's good as King Barrett, I think.
I do too. I think he really fits into that role.
Yeah.
I kind of liked after that big old talking segment that they kind of moved it along pretty good.
I go with that for a while with the King Barrett gimmick.
Yeah, but I just said that, don't you like how they kind of moved along Raw after that first opening?
Oh, yeah.
Because that was such a long talk segment, I mean.
Right, and they got it moving quick. It was nice.
Right, but yeah, he's good with that King gimmick, but I don't see how long of a run. I mean, Booker had a good run with the King, so.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a good 6-8 month run with it or something like that.
I don't know what they're going to do with him after that, though.
No.
They need to really build him up during this run.
Something, yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens down the line.
Next, one of my favorite things that happened was Harper and Rowan coming out together. They showed the SmackDown spot, which I had noted in my notes before Raw even had, from last week when they came out together and reunited. And after he defeated Fandango Harper, Rowan came down and pummeled Fandango some more. So they continued that. It was Harper and Rowan coming out together, and they had Rowan take on Fandango. I always say it wrong, of all things.
Fandango.
Of all people, Fandango fights Rowan again. Rowan gets a full Nelson bomb, which I'm guessing is his new finisher.
Probably.
Because he did that on SmackDown to him, too. And after that, they pulled that double team avalanche spinning clothesline combo on Fandango. Fandango jobbed out in, what was it, like a minute? Like, I don't... They were taking bets on, like, how quick he'd get beat.
Yeah.
And my new name now christened him Jobdongo.
Jobdongo.
So, Rowan defeats Jobdongo. I don't see much future for Jobdongo.
No, not. They're going to change his gimmick, bring him something new.
But I see a hell of a tag team combination with Harper and Rowan that they need to capitalize on. I don't see him putting them back with Bray Wyatt, though.
No, I think they keep him as a team, and then they can always have him wrestle as singles whenever they need to.
Yeah, they screwed up not having them break off as a tag team in the first place, in my opinion.
Right.
So,
because it gave him down the road here getting the belt after a little while, after some of these other feuds take place and play out.
I could too. I would love to see him have a run. I wanted to see him have a tag run whenever they were in the Wyatt family.
Oh, I know. So did I.
I just always thought it would have been great if they would have had Wyatt as champion and then with the tag belts. It would have been great.
It almost helps better now because they've kind of, I mean, at least, you know, Harper's at least made a name for himself.
Well, I'm sure it really relieved C-Dub from Chronochord to not see that they repackaged him as the new Berserker. So
yeah.
He was, no pun intended, a lost sheep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he was, and he wears the sheep mask, so how ironic. I mean, Rowan had no direction after the breakup, so I'm glad they put him back together. They're an awesome team.
Yeah.
So, anything else on the old Harper-Rowan reunion?
No, just thought it was a good idea.
I dug it.
Yeah.
We've been saying forever to put them back together.
I don't know. I don't see why they didn't before. I mean, like you said, it should have been done a long time ago.
I mean, they even tried a face run with him.
Yeah, yeah, with Rowan, I mean, you can't get no face run.
I'm so glad they didn't try that redneck faction.
Yeah, that would have been epic fail.
Ziggler, Ryback, and him. Yeah, I'm so glad that was failed.
Thought New Day was bad. That would have been
Barnyard Commandos.
Oh my.
Anyway, one thing about Rowan is that, you know, he did turn heel as well.
Right, he's much better to be a heel.
So I wanted to note that it was a heel turn as well.
He's a good manager.
Yeah, they almost need Wyatt, but I just don't see them throwing Wyatt back in there. I don't
know.
No,
they just need somebody, like, I don't know, man.
I don't know who they'd put in there, but a
manager. I have to think of some names. And see.
Yeah, manager would fit him well.
Yeah.
Zeb Coulter or something, maybe turn back to old Uncle Zebekiah.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening, though. He ain't been around, though, for a while now, though. I don't ever see him in...
No.
So, moving on from that now, we got... they showed the Zayn debut from last week, so you're like, huh. They're still trying to keep Zayn around, don't know what's going on with the injury still.
Yeah.
As far as I've heard, it's still the rumor of the 2 to 3 months, so...
Right.
We had Cena come out after that and says hate him or love him, that they can all respect the U.S. title. He says the U.S. is the greatest country on earth. He says the U.S. title is what the U.S. is all about. It's a symbol of opportunity. He called Zayn an NXT superstar as he was naming off a bunch of names that have came out and challenged him. He says one man has no chance, and that's Rusev. He says this Sunday he will win because he never gives up. He wants a vote on a U.S. title match, and the crowd all cheered yes. He says, you want some, come get some, and initiated the challenge. So Neville answered. So we had Neville versus John Cena for the U.S. title. Neville hit the red arrow, and then Rusev came in and broke up the pin. And then he kicked Neville out of the ring, and then continued to hit Cena with a running kick, and then applied an accolade, making Cena pass out. Big old We Want Lana chant started.
Yep.
And I must say that was a good match and a really good ending. They had the flag come down with Rusev taunting Cena with the U.S. title to go off to the commercial, I think, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a hell of a match.
Man, that was a hell of a match and almost a huge win for Neville, in my opinion, and a great showing.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the interference, it could have been a win easily.
Yeah, he would have had the title if it wasn't. They perceived it that way anyway, that he'd probably be the champion if it wasn't for Rusev.
Right, and like I said, it was a good match. I mean...
And if things play out like I think they are with Rusev getting the U.S. title, which will go to our predictions. But I think Neville will be the #1 contender.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to another note here coming up. So
once we get to our predictions, I'll give my thoughts on all that.
Right. Anything else to say on that? I think Cena had a hell of a showing again. And, I mean, I don't think anybody works harder on the roster than Cena, really.
No, I mean, hell, come out there and put on a show with Neville. I mean, that was...
He has a good match with about everybody lately.
He does. I mean...
It's not always the other guy.
Uh-uh.
I'm starting to actually kind of gain some respect for Cena in the ring. Although I hate his, campy character and how he's a Hulk Hogan wannabe. I do like his...
Since he's got the U.S. belt, it's been...
I respect his work ethic.
Oh, I know. I mean, you can't not help. I mean, it's
not a hardcore fan like us can't ignore that.
Everything he does, his schedule is ridiculous. I mean,
he doesn't have a hell of a moveset, but he definitely is better than Hogan ever was in the ring.
I mean, and he's adding stuff, so he's listening to people.
Yeah, I see him being on top, maybe for a couple more years. But I see his career winding down. But he's never going to be out of the main picture.
Yeah, it's winding down, but
even with the U.S. title, he's up there in the main picture.
But like I said, he's still giving matches like that. So
yeah, there's no need for him to quit.
No, maybe a break or something.
Yeah, he does deserve a break for a while.
Yeah,
I think they're kind of moving towards that route. With him losing, he's going to have to take a break.
All right.
So they announced Orton and Rollins next again for the main event. They said Kane and Reigns was next after the commercial. So after that, Kane versus Reigns, we had the botched table spot for the finish. I'm sure it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
He tried to spear him through the table, and Kane just kind of hit the top of the table, and they slid off over the table, and it ended in a no contest. But I think that was a botched table spot. How cool would that have been if he would have put Kane through it?
Yeah, he needed to get him off the ground a little bit farther and flatten down his back and land on top of it instead of basically sliding right off of it is what happened.
Okay, so yeah, it was Kane's fault the way he took it.
He should have jumped a little more up in the air when he speared him and came down on it a little bit. I don't know.
Far from a 5-star match, but that would have been a hell of a finish.
Yeah, I mean, it was what it was.
All they did was scrap outside the ring, so it really officially never was a match. I mean,
no, I mean, it was typical Kane and Reigns.
Yeah, Kane could take a break too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think they're leaning towards something like that.
They're going to do something, yeah.
So, I just think that made Reigns not look as strong. I mean, he was standing on the table at the end.
It would have been a lot better if he went to the table.
Yeah, because they went off to the commercial break with him standing on the table. If that would have been broke, he could have been standing over Kane,
Yeah.
So, they needed that table spot, and that sucks that it didn't happen for him, so... Moving on from that, they announced that Daniel Bryan will be coming up. They showed the return of Tamina from last week, beating down the Bellas with Naomi. And then we had Brie Bella with Nikki taking on Tamina with Naomi. And her first match back, it was Naomi cutting a promo calling Tamina family, actually, in the promo that she cut on the way to the ring. And Tamina won via super kick. So, anything to say on this?
It's related to Superfly or... Usos or Quantum? Is that what
I don't think that Superfly is actually related to the Inoue family, but they accept them as family anyway. I think that's what it is.
Because he's from the islands. I don't know.
Yeah, and they're pretty much just all related somehow. So Tamina wins with the super kick. This would be a perfect time to bring Uso back in too.
Right.
With what's his name on the shelf. So then was it Jimmy on the shelf? So they could bring Jey Uso.
Yeah, they could bring Jey.
I can't remember which one's injured right now. I always mix them up.
Maybe give him a good... I mean, if they end up... I don't know what they got plans for Cena afterwards, but they could put him with Nikki and Brie and have a little feud there.
Right. I'd like to see him bring Uso back in as a singles competitor and kind of have a little bit of like an Inoue faction.
Well, if he had a little feud with Cena and the Bellas and him and Naomi and Tamina, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, like an Inoue faction. Kind of.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Change the look up a little bit.
Be a good way to get Samoa Joe in, too.
Yeah.
Like he already said. Okay, so I don't have anything to say about that, actually, anymore, so move on from that. Curtis Axel and Macho Mandow going at it when the Ascension interrupted their match, and they talked them trying to imitate legends, which I thought was funny, and that there is a new age in the WWE, the age of total destruction. They are the Ascension. Welcome to the wasteland. And they stormed the ring. Axel and Mandow fought them off together. Axel hit a leg drop, and then Mandow was going for the big elbow drop like Macho Man does, but he was interrupted by the Ascension, and the Ascension belled. So I thought Macho Mandow and Curtis Axel together was funny. And I do see definitely it's going to be the Mega Powers 2.0.
It will be. They're going to go for a while.
Yeah, they're going to tag at the kickoff show against the Ascension.
We'll see how far it goes.
But they actually brought Macho Man out to Raw. I mean, I thought it was just like a one-time thing maybe, but because we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe a one-shot deal there, but it looks like they're going to go with it as a character.
So on main event, he didn't have everything on him, the gear on and stuff.
And it's so funny that I used to say that he had a build similar to Macho Man and stuff, and now they're doing this Macho Mandow gimmick.
I always say it too. Punk did too, kind of had that Macho Man build.
Right. So it's just kind of funny. I think it was even when we did our weekly Pro Wrestling Rush show that I said that. I don't know. So on from that, they announced the Zane Owens Network special, showing their match from NXT Rival, I think it was.
Right.
And then they plugged the Tough Enough starting June 23rd. So they gave the start date, June 23rd for Tough Enough, and they showed some more contestant vids. I really have nothing to say on that, but vote for Mitch Mitchell, who will keep putting the link under the vid to help support him and get him into the Tough Enough contest. Get him some views and get him in there.
I'm going to be up soon.
Yep, Jeff Crows will be up soon, even though his age doesn't qualify. So you're not getting in because your age doesn't qualify, but you could put one up.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be the next boogeyman, Marty Wright.
That's what I'm planning on.
Next 40-year-old that gets in developmental because he tried to lie about his age for Tough Enough. So, moving on from that, we have Daniel Bryan coming out. This actually boosted the ratings as well, Jeff, as the Triple H one did, as I announced.
I figured this one would.
Yeah, this actually gained viewership for Raw, too. Daniel Bryan came out. They actually plugged him as a Tough Enough panelist, which you heard about that, right?
Right.
And that's another thing. Since we were talking Tough Enough, we can go ahead and announce the note that I had on Tough Enough as well. Chris Jericho was announced the host of Tough Enough, and as we just said, Daniel Bryan, along with Paige and Hulk Hogan, will be panelists. They're going to do Tough Enough a little different this time. They're going to have like the live training part, which Booker T, Lita, and Billy Gunn will be the trainers, and then they are going to go into a live TV contest, I guess. That's what they're doing, and then they're going to have judges, live judges, a panel. Kind of like, they do for Dancing with the Stars or whatever.
Right.
And it's Hogan, Paige, and Daniel Bryan. So that starts June 23rd. So
that's pretty cool.
So they announced, Daniel Bryan was a Tough Enough panelist and had the IC title. He got a bunch of Daniel Bryan chants. He talked the last couple of weeks that he's been in and out of doctor's appointments. He's had a lot of downtime, and he needs to be somewhere there's energy. He needed to be behind the curtain waiting to come out and get this kind of reaction. He talked how long the fans have treated him better than anyone backstage. He talked hating being stripped of the title last year because he felt he let everybody down because they gave him the opportunity. He said the hard thing to admit is that Steph was right to do it because he was hurt and couldn't defend the title. He said that they deserve a fighting champion, and it's exactly why he came out tonight. He said he had an MRI last week and said that there's no timeline on being out, weeks, months, possibly never again. He said, but despite the uncertainty, he knows what needs to happen with the IC title. He says they deserve a guy that fights for the IC title. He plugged Ziggler, Barrett, Ambrose. He said the IC title deserves to be in the ring, and that's where he leaves it. He officially relinquishes the belt. He said thank you to the crowd, and then he looked at the belt and laid the IC title in the ring and walked out with thank you, Daniel chants. Announcers after that talked about Bryan relinquishing the IC title. And I do have an update on that too as we get to it here. But what do you think of Daniel Bryan? It says that on Instagram he posted that he's working as hard as he can to get back. But do you think we'll ever see him again? It's kind of funny because 2 episodes ago, C-Dub from Chronochord, which I do plug to check out their link underneath as well to Chronochord Pro Wrestling, Chronochord Media, and make sure you check them out each week. We will plug them each week here on the show. He did point out that he said he doubted that we seen Daniel Bryan finish out 2015, and it looks like he's right.
Yeah, he could possibly have one more match, but I don't even know if they'll let him have one, depending, because it doesn't sound good. And like you said, with your neck, I mean, there's so many things that go wrong. You take one bad bump or fall, and it could be a bad deal.
Right. And we've been saying he looked rough from the get-go when he got back. I mean, we've talked about it.
Like I said, I know with my neck, the pain just drains you, and you can't. I mean, it'd be hard going out there every night doing that and just coming back hurting like hell.
I think he mentioned that the doctor said they really don't know what's going on with him.
Yeah, and that's, with mine, they can't quite pinpoint what's going on, so they just keep treating symptoms. So
I think they led this along too long, but I do think it was a fitting ending to his reign. It sucks it's the second title he's won he's had to relinquish. I don't even think they should give him a title again.
And if they can fix whatever it is, then they can bring him back in and put him right in the mix.
I know, but he's had such bad luck with the belt. It seems like every time he gets a belt, he gets hurt and he's got to go.
Yeah.
And I wanted to note that I do have a comparison to, I'm a big basketball fan, NBA, college, whatever, and I kind of compare him to Bill Walton in the NBA. I mean, you got a guy who was great on the independent scene, which you can compare to Bill Walton being great at UCLA, leading UCLA to all those titles. You had Daniel Bryan, who was a darling of the independent scene. And then, he comes into the WWE, has like an outstanding year where he wins the belt, where Bill Walton came into the NBA his first year, won the NBA title. So there's a comparison right there. And then what ends their career? They both could have been great, but both were hampered by injuries. And I think that the comparisons are so weird. And then they both have the big beards.
Yeah, and you could even throw Grant Hill in there as some comparison, same thing.
Yeah.
College, he tore through college and got the NBA and snapped his leg, and
I just thought it was an uncanny comparison to the career of Bill Walton.
Back.
So he is now the Bill Walton of WWE. So it's sad to say, but it's true. He might come back and be able to contribute too, just like Bill Walton came back and contributed to the Celtics, but he'll never be a main player.
No.
And I think that's just weird how they kind of paralleled each other in different ways, but I wanted to announce that. So anything else on Daniel Bryan? Do you expect them to get back in there?
I highly doubt it.
I do too.
They're taking way too long. It's something fairly serious that they're taking this long to figure out what it is.
Yeah, it's got to be something bad. Just like the Sami Zayn thing. I don't know what's going on there.
There's so many things that can go wrong. It's unbelievable.
But he says he's working as hard as he can to get back. So
I mean, if they can pinpoint it ain't nothing major, then he could be back. You never know.
Right. But we are going to see a new, IC champion.
So he must plan on being out for a little while for sure. So.
Yep. He said maybe never again. So.
Yeah.
And Chronochord also did injury update vids for the NXT stars that are out, and also for Daniel Bryan. Check those out at Chronochord Pro Wrestling / Chronochord Media. The link will be underneath their channel. The New Day came out next. Xavier cut a promo on Bryan being gone, so rejoice. He tried to lead a New Day Rocks chant, but got the sucks instead. Kofi got a promo in, and he said the crowd will get it right one day. Biggie jumped in back to Kofi, announcing giving Kid Cesaro a title shot at Payback. And then they tried to lead a New Day Rocks chant and got a New Day Sucks chant instead. Kid and Cesaro came out, and it was Cesaro versus Biggie. And Cesaro ended up winning the match with a roll-up. I see this 2 out of 3 falls match at Payback being a hell of a match, and I hope they keep the feud going.
Yeah, that was good. It was actually a good match, too.
And actually, we had a comment on a listener that says that he enjoys the New Day, so...
Yeah.
I want to say that I think the New Day is getting over a little bit, I think I'm going to call that the New Day is going to be the first John Cena tag team where you're going to get the New Day Rocks and the New Day Sucks chant.
Yeah.
Coincide.
We said a long time ago, they needed that heel turn to get going.
And they did the heel turn, and now look where they're at. On top. I don't know about them coming out on top at Payback, but we'll get there.
They got the belts right now, so...
Yep. I thought that was a good little spot there. They had Kofi kind of heel out on the mic a little bit, saying that one day they might get it right, you know.
He needed to.
He needs to start cutting some heelish stuff. Xavier and Biggie both have it in them, I think, so that'll be fine.
Biggie definitely does.
Cesaro does get the win with a roll-up. So.
Yeah, it was a pretty sweet roll-up. I don't know what he did in there.
Yeah, he did like some kind of deal. So moving on from that, they announced the Axel and Mando versus Ascension for the kickoff show. And then they announced, the big announcement was Sunday, May 31st, they're bringing back the Elimination Chamber. So we get 2 pay-per-views this month.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was a real shocker to find out. And I found out some notes about the Elimination Chamber. There was actually a live event going on the same night, which they thought they may use a limited roster, but they have actually rescheduled that live event, and it'll be moved to November, and it'll be like the Go Home show or I can't remember, to Survivor Series or after, I can't remember. But they've moved that. It's going to be the tag and vacant IC title matches in the chamber. So they're going to have the first ever tag team elimination chamber match. The US and world titles will also be defended that night. So far that's the news I've gotten on the elimination chamber. But
they're going to have one for the tag and one for the
vacant IC.
For the vacant IC, that'd be cool.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool to see how they do this tag one. More than likely, it's going to be 3 tag teams. Because like on the video games that they do, they have the 3 contestants start out in like a triple threat match.
Harper and Rowan in there.
Right. So, but this is how I think it's going to work, though, is that they're going to have 4 guys start off in the ring and then 4 guys come out of the pod.
A disadvantage.
Yep. New Day's in there. They're going to have to choose what members are going to be in the chamber. So this is interesting, throwing this in there.
Yeah.
A network special pay-per-view. So they can start doing this stuff, too, now, and kind of get a little brutal on the network, too, you know, like you said.
Yeah. I'm glad they're starting to do this.
So I see big things in the future for the tag division.
Yeah.
This could really bring them back up if they pull off a great chamber match.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that on the 31st. And then for the vacant IC championship, we get to see who's the new IC title winner. I'm anxious to see the 6 guys they throw in.
And it's already got some meaning to it now that Daniel Bryan's had it and relinquished it. So
right, got some prestige.
And I seen he even had a good point there in his interviews talking about, you know, a lot of guys go for that championship belt, but there's only a few, and you gotta be in the right position and all this. And he said these titles you can work your ass off and you can get to them.
Right. I think they really should add that prestige to the IC. Like, when I was a kid, if you had the IC, it pretty much seemed like you were, like, the #1 contender.
Right.
Or
like,
you were the best worker out there.
Like Warrior and...
Yeah, and then it was the workhorse title for a while, though. They had Perfect. They had Bret Hart, you know, the top guys that were workhorses. Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat. So, it's got a lot of prestige to it, and they really need to capitalize on that.
Yeah.
So... on from that, they announced Reigns and Kane must be a winner match for SmackDown Thursday. I'll be checking that out. I actually have watched SmackDown the last couple of weeks, and it's not been too bad. No, they don't really move on any storylines anymore. You don't really need to see it, but it's on there. I still think they need Taz on there.
Yeah.
Then you had a primetime player promo dissing the New Age Outlaws. They did the Outlaws quote, but added 3 words, billions of dollars at the end. And I have heard rumors that they may be bringing New Age Outlaws back to have a feud with them. So,
yeah, right.
If that's in the works, I would like to see that.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, if you don't have anything else to say, I think Billy Gunn and Road Dogg would be cool back on the roster. And that would build up the tag team division. And they would be a couple of veterans that these tag teams, you know, if they're going to build up the division, a couple of veterans to work with there.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, we had the Wyatt promo. Wyatt made his way to the ring. He says he feels sorry for all of us. He claims he wishes he could wake us all up, but he can't. He talked fear being all around, everywhere. He says that there are still those who refuse to accept this. He talked Ryback being such an inspiration to all of us, talking when the doctor came when he had that ankle injury and told him that he's sorry but he can't fight again, and he fought through the injury. And he said he must be like a hero to everybody, and that he is a hero. He said that along came the Spider, and he understands Ryback has overcome a lot of odds, but he's never seen anything like the new face of fear. He says Ryback is asking, why me? He says the answer is simple, because he was in my way. He says, parents never tell us this, but sometimes the bad guy just wins. I thought that was a cool quote at the end there.
Yeah.
It's hard to follow Bray Wyatt's promos and hit bullet points on them. I try.
I can listen to him and follow him, but he needs to shorten them up.
Did he say the answer is simple? He was in my way. Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
Yeah. And then Ryback comes out. Wyatt attacked Ryback off the bat, but Ryback hit Wyatt with a spine buster, and then he hit a meat hook, sending him outside the ring. Ryback celebrated as Wyatt laid on the ramp looking on. So I thought that was good build-up. But this match has not been announced for Payback yet, has it?
Yeah, I don't think it is.
Yeah, it's not been officially made yet. So they might carry this on to the next pay-per-view, maybe to Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
They're going to need some undercard matches for Chamber.
They might have something happen in pay-per-view, but
I don't know what's going on with that, but I did think that was a cool segment. He does, cut a lot.
Bray's getting fully healed up still from that.
He says a lot of the same kind of things in his promos. Wyatt does, I know.
He does, but if he does to me, he talks about a lot of stuff going on in the world.
Right, which don't really come across unless you actually hear his promo. I mean, you got to see it. I can't just talk it. I'm just trying to hit bullet points.
I sit there and listen to that and understand what he's, talking about. Really, it doesn't relate to wrestling. It's just life stuff. So he is getting more shortened down and more towards the point of what he's doing.
And switch things up a little bit. Come up with some different words and sayings and stuff. I do like how he said the bad guy just wins. Sometimes the bad guy just wins. Your parents don't tell you that.
Shorten him up and,
Okay, so on from that, we had them announce Rollins and Orton for the main event again, and then the new Springer Too Hot for TV. Have you checked that out yet?
Yeah, I've watched some of it.
What'd you think of it? I'm not big on it.
No, it ain't the greatest. It's just stuff that I've seen back in the Attitude Era stuff.
Right, that's what I noted on when C-Dub was on here. It's on, and it'll be on after SmackDown Thursday, the new episode, if anybody's interested there.
Alright, just check out, but it's nothing special.
An interesting note, they announced over 3 million views on the YouTube Tough Enough contest vids, which I thought was impressive.
Wow, right up there.
Yeah, so that's good that they're doing good on that. It looks like the show's going to be successful. Orton versus Rollins was next, which was the main event. J&J interfered. They assaulted Orton. Rollins got a hit in and went on the attack. Kane came out and grabbed a chair. Ambrose came out to save Orton from the attack. Reigns came out too. Orton and Ambrose surrounded Rollins. Ambrose hit the dirty deeds on Rollins, and then Reigns speared Rollins, and Orton hit an RKO on Rollins. But then at the end, Reigns speared Orton, and then Dirty Deeds was hit on Reigns by Ambrose, and then Ambrose stood tall once again at the end. And this is my complaint on this, is that last Raw, SmackDown, and this Raw have all ended pretty much the same, with everybody hitting a bunch of finishers real quick on each other, behind each other's back.
Yeah, because it was Reigns speared Orton. Well, they had Reigns, they had him up, and what they do to him? They put 2 finishers on him and held him up for Orton.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened. I don't know. I got confused there. If Reigns speared Orton, then...
Oh, Reigns speared Orton, and then he got Dirty Deeds hit.
Yeah.
And then Ambrose stood tall.
Yeah.
But they all hit their finishers on Rollins. Ambrose hit a Dirty Deeds, then Reigns speared him, and then Orton hit an RKO. That was the finish.
Yeah.
When everybody started attacking him, and you had Kane just standing out there.
Right.
That didn't really get involved.
He just stood there with the chair.
Right. They hyped the Payback live on WWE Network as they signed off, and then they actually did an NXT Network plug as they plugged the NXT title match for Owens and Zayn once again before they went off the air. So they were really pushing that.
Yeah, they must be high on both them.
The only problem with Raw is I thought it was above average, but I thought the ending was so similar to the SmackDown and previous Raw.
Yeah, it's getting the same thing.
It was just so messed up. I don't know. I couldn't even get it really right of what happened because I have to go back and watch it again.
Same
almost.
Thing minus Big Show out there, basically.
Big Show expected to return in a couple of weeks, I heard.
Yeah, he'll be out there again.
So you want to get on to the Payback predictions then, as we have finished up Raw?
Yeah, let's go.
So,
ready.
I'm going to claim Axel and Mando over the Ascension on the kickoff show.
I also am going to call that.
And Jason's also choosing Axel and Mando. So, the next one we have is Ziggler over Sheamus, I have.
Yeah, I was going to go Sheamus, but not after the kiss my arse thing. I think Zig's going to go over this time.
Jason has Sheamus winning, but I have Ziggler winning.
Wow.
Especially because Sheamus got the beat down on Raw.
Yeah, he's been beating him down lately, plus the whole kiss my arse match. He made him look like shit.
Next, I have Neville taking King Barrett this time, because this will be the rubber match. Neville has one win from the pay-per-view, then he lost the King of the Ring match. I think Neville's going to get the payback here.
Yep, I picked Neville as well.
Name of the pay-per-view's Payback. I'm going with Neville getting the payback.
Yep.
Actually, Jason has Barrett winning, so they may push King Barrett. Who knows?
But Neville just lost that awesome match against Cena, so I think he's due to put up there for a good match to get put over.
Okay, so going on from that, Kid Zaro, I have taken New Day for the 2 out of 3 falls match, and then continuing the feud. And they'd have to. Whoever wins is going to take the titles into the chamber.
Yeah, this has got me torn because I'm wondering if they're going to keep it going.
Jason has New Day retaining.
I'm almost tempted to say I'm going to go with New Day retaining.
Okay, so I'm the only one taking Kid Zaro, which is Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, but that's my name for him if anybody hasn't heard. Okay, so then we have the Rusev-Cena match, the I Quit match. I'm going to take Rusev over Cena, and I'm going to have Alana involvement costing Cena the match somehow.
Yeah.
Some kind of sympathy.
And, yep, that's what I was...
Yeah, I kind of stole that from you the other night, so you can go ahead and say what you think.
What I think is going to happen is he's going to get her in the accolades or something.
Exactly.
And Cena's going to have no choice to say... But I say I quit or let him just keep.
I mean, you can almost just see that happening right now.
Yeah, especially with the popularity she's getting.
Right. It's just so obvious that that's probably...
And that's the only way Cena is going to say I quit.
Right. To save somebody else. He'd never do it to...
No.
He'd never disrespect the country, but he'd do it to save somebody's life. You know what I mean? And they just showed him pass him out to the accolade on Raw.
And I don't think he's going to go over and Rusev again. I mean...
Yeah, and Jason has Rusev taking the title, too. And it is for the U.S. title, too, so...
Yeah.
That'll take Rusev to the Elimination Chamber.
That set up Neville and Rusev.
That gets Cena out of Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And gets him off the card for a while as well. I hate to say it, but we might not be seeing Cena next month.
Yeah, he could take a little break. You never know about him. He may decide to come back, but... Yeah, I don't see him beating Rusev 3 times in a row.
No, me neither.
Said what I think's going to happen is it's got to do with Lana and to make her quit.
Right on. And then the last match that they have posted, I'm sure there'll be a couple more added to the card because they have 6 matches right now. I have Rollins retaining in the Fatal 4-Way against Ambrose, Orton, and Reigns.
Oh,
Just because we've had that rumor of Brock coming back to take on Rollins in a feud.
Right.
And I just think, I don't see why would they have Rollins lose this. And there is a WWE title match at Elimination Chamber, as far as I know.
I know, and that's what I'm almost thinking they may put it on Ambrose and then take it back off of him.
How strong would it make Rollins look, though, if he wins this match and at the Chamber?
No, I'm saying...
I'm just saying it would make him look really...
make him look strong?
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, but then they're kind of going with that crybaby little attitude, so I don't know. They could go either way. I just think I'm going to just go out on a limb and claim Ambrose and then transition it back to Rollins before he takes on Brock.
Ambrose getting one hell of a reaction, too, I forgot to mention.
Yeah, I think they could go a month or so with him, come out and get some good pops. And
yeah, me too.
Then that way it'll keep him up there.
I'm going with Rollins.
And it'll keep Ambrose up there, with the top guys. So.
And Jason actually has Rollins retaining as well.
So I'm going out. Only one.
Yep. I don't know. Steven doesn't have internet or cable right now, so he's really unable to make any picks right now or anything and get on the show. So props to him, though, if he ever does get to listen. And hopefully he can get it back on here soon. He can't really do the show without Skype, even if he wanted to.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so, and also, by the way, I want to announce that I hope so. I think I planned it with C-Dub to get back on here on the results show for Payback, like he was on here for the results show for the Chamber. I want to get him back on here next week, and hopefully, Jeff, you get on too. So
yeah, I'll be on.
I just want to give props to C-Dub from Chronochord to get on here next week.
That'd be sweet.
I know he's going to be listening, so what's up, man? Now let's get on to the news, notes, and headlines, my favorite part. I got a shitload of TNA stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I ain't got a whole lot of news and notes on mine, so I'm going to let you...
Okay, I'm going to roll on these notes then, because I got about a page.
Alright.
Okay, first of all, on TNA's part, TNA had a show canceled on Destination America already. It was called Unlocked, hosted by Mike Tenay. And it is being reported that Destination America is now unhappy with the ratings and ad sales, and that they regret making the deal in the first place with TNA. So that's not a good sign.
If you're on regular cable TV, it'd be a little different. I mean...
It's hurting. Destination America doesn't even... They kind of just regret the whole thing. They are just so unhappy with TNA is that's what they're reporting. Yeah, and they aren't on everybody's cable, are they?
No.
That's really hurting them, because I would actually try to check it out maybe if it was on.
Yeah, if I had it, I would watch it, but I don't have it, so, I mean...
So the bottom line is they need to get a broader market.
Yeah.
There was a huge drop in the ratings, though, for the live Impact that aired Friday. It featured the return of Velvet Sky, who's coming back on a regular basis. She tagged with Angelina Love. And then Bully Ray made an appearance, a one-time shot, as the special ref for the TNA title match with Angle and Eric Young. Also, the Wolves made an appearance, too. I don't know anything on their status. The Hardys forfeited the titles due to Jeff Hardy's injury. And Jeff Hardy, those close to him, say that they expect him to be back in about 2 months. It was a bad break, but they expect him back in 2 months. So they had to forfeit the titles. Also, Bully tweeted teasing an NXT debut afterwards, too. And it was a one-time shot.
I wasn't down with that.
And half the fans left after the live taping, so it made it really hard for anybody to try to get a reaction on the show after that. Yeah. And this was the first one that Billy Corgan actually worked. They said he received high marks, though, for how he seemed so interested with helping the talents on his first night, so he was praised backstage.
That is really good.
Dixie Carter also announced the departure of Steve Small as the longtime senior director of production. The Harris brothers, the Harris twins, you remember them? Skull and 8 Ball, I think it was. They are announced as teaming up the head of the production team moving forward now.
Oh my.
Yeah. TNA
some wrestlers in there to run the shit.
Right. They've been following Dixie around with the camera, and it's reported that she's working on some kind of reality series. So they're canceling the show, but she's working on a reality series.
I think you better focus your money more on and your time into wrestling before you start. I mean, like WWE's, they got total divas and stuff, but tough enough. But they, it's WWE, they're a corporate company, and
despite the low ratings, Dixie's claiming to the talent to pay no mind to the viewership info. Like, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Always watching.
They plan to have one more live Impact before Slammiversary as well, and currently they are working right now to bring back live events as quick as possible. So, I mean, they're actually trying to run live events again. I mean, come on.
Live events wouldn't be bad, but
they want to resume them by the end of summer, early fall.
I still just told the TV thing is...
It's bad.
Yeah.
If they can get on a network where it's viewed, throughout the world, not like Destination America where you have to have it.
No, just I mean,
you have to go out and search it down. I mean, then that's not good.
Find a station that's got a good slot that they really ain't got anything, and just pitch it to them. Be like, Tuesday night, because there isn't really anything going on Tuesday night.
Right. No, there's not. Another announcement on TNA is that the Pope, D'Angelo Dinero, made his return. He joined Matthews on commentary in a 6-man match that airs on May 22nd. So I'm glad to see the Pope's back.
He's been loyal to them.
I like the Pope. Dixie also has put out that she does not want TNA talents working for Global Force on days off. And also noted is there is a advertisement for a 3-hour Impact on 5/22. They're actually going to try to pull a 3-hour Impact off. So could that be one of their pay-per-views or something on TV? I don't know. But she doesn't want any of them working for Global Force, so she must feel threatened by that.
I don't know what she can announce. It would be big anymore. It's not much left. I mean,
well, there is a lot of Global Force news too, so I can get into.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that stuff.
Global Force, which is GFW, they will crown 4 champions at the tapings in Las Vegas, Nevada. That they have the tapings lined up for. They're going to announce 4 champions. I don't know what champions. Also, they announced that, we forgot to announce this last week, that Chael Sonnen was announced as the expert analyst for GFW. Also, JR says that GFW may be something that he would do, but he has to have the time on a really full schedule, so it's looking like it could be really hard for him to do.
But he's also he's said for a while he'd like to work with Chael.
Yeah. Did you hear the list of other talents that have signed with them?
Not all.
We've got Moose from ROH, Chris the Adonis Mordetsky, better known as Chris Masters.
Yeah.
Lady Tapa. Lady Tapa Tepe. I don't know her really. She was in that TNA for a while. Thea Trinidad. Not real sure on her. Lance Hoyt, aka Vance Archer.
Yeah.
Also Tyrus, aka Brodus Clay. The Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson. That's a good signing.
Yeah.
And then Cliff Compton, a.k.a. Domino from Deuce and Domino. Nobody really jumping out to me here, though. Also, Jim Duggan was signed as a GFW legend.
What?
Yeah, I mean, they're actually signing legend deals now, too. So they have announced also 13 promotions in 5 countries that they are aligned with.
We'll probably try to get a bunch of ex-WCW guys at legends.
So GFW seems like they're trying, but it just doesn't seem like the roster's great. They could really use like John Morrison from Lucha Underground.
It's a decent start, but it's not great.
Why?
I mean, why would you really?
You're gonna pull out Cliff Compton, Domino. I mean, I haven't seen him for years.
Yeah.
Chris Masters, even I haven't seen him.
No.
Chris the Adonis.
I mean,
Lance Hoyt, Vance Archer. I mean, I've met him. He's a nice guy, but I don't see him making some very big impact. He's a tag team called the Killer Elite Squad with Davey Boy Smith Jr., by the way.
Yeah,
And this is on top of the 4 guys that we already announced. You know, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, the Bullet Club. And who?
It could be a little interesting then. Depends how they use them, what kind of gimmicks they give them.
Yeah, and they announced too David Hart Smith, Davey Boy Smith Jr., and JT, what the heck ever his name was, Justin Gabriel. But he goes by his real name. So those were whatever that was. I'm sure I'll remember it soon, but I don't know. So that's all my TNA and GFW stuff I have right now. Oh yeah, House of Hardcore debuted tonight as we're speaking on the Fight Network in Canada and Cablevision in US. And they said if you have a Roku, you know what that is? It's like a little. It's like one of those Roku.
My TV set up for it, but I don't have the Roku box.
Okay, well, if you get a Roku, you can subscribe to Fight Network for $3 a month to see House of Hardcore, among a lot of other shows that you'd probably enjoy.
Oh, there's a ton of stuff you can get with it. I just haven't messed with it and got one. They're fairly expensive. They're $70.
I noted that they're still advertising Daniel Bryan for Sunday and for live events, so they haven't really pulled him from any advertisements as I've seen. So that's kind of strange.
They usually it's slow pull advertisements.
And here's something that you already know. Jimmy Wayne Yang, the old Asian redneck, was backstage at Raw. He didn't have a match, but he says maybe next time, and he spelt next time NXT on Twitter. So
yep.
I'd like to see him back in NXT. He had his whole get-up on. I think he thought they were going to use him, but they didn't. I'm kind of disappointed. I wanted to see him. He'd be good in NXT, though. Really good.
He'd be real good in NXT.
Yeah, he wouldn't. Use that Asian redneck gimmick. I said Big Show, expected back in a couple weeks. Miz and Paige, they wrap up filming the first week of June, so we should see them return then. So we have a chance of seeing Miz and Paige at the live event we're at for sure. So they should be back by then. There's a backstage feeling that Bray Wyatt has enough supporters that he will eventually turn babyface, but now they say it isn't the right time. So that's an interesting note.
Yeah.
This week in WWE history on the network, I haven't seen this show. Have you? They're going to take a It's hosted by Kyle Edwards and Corey Graves, and this one's going to show the birth of In Your House, which I really want to see this, but I never knew about this show. This Week in WWE History.
I'll have to check it out.
I'll have to check that out. I know there's a This Week in WWE, so is it under that? I don't know, but they're going to look at the birth of In Your House pay-per-view, which I always like that, In Your House.
Yeah.
Did you see that Yuha Nation was on the NXT last week?
Yeah.
But did you notice no name was attributed? And
I was waiting for him to put a name there, and
well, they have yet. WWE has yet to come up with an NXT name for him. So that's the problem there. Did you hear about Bob Backlund supposedly cut a Hill promo during Vern Gagne's funeral speech by Greg? Yeah, it was reported to be ridiculously out of place, but then Backlund denied the whole thing. So
right, but he's weird as hell as it is.
I could see him doing something like that, but that's funny.
Yeah.
Owen's wife, Owen Hart's widow, says that her family did not have anything to do and does not back WWE's Owen Hart DVD that they plan on releasing. I think she's disappointed that she says they're trying to capitalize on his death once again, and the best thing they could do is just let him rest in peace and not talk about him. I see where she's coming from. Tragic thing for her and her family to keep having to be reminded of, especially if they're trying to forget about it happening, you know? So what do you think on that?
I don't know. I see it both ways.
Well, give me your opinion on it.
Side, like her side, yeah, I can see, but just don't watch it. Don't turn it on.
Right.
And then you got like Brett and them.
Because there are people like me who are interested in his career.
Yeah.
Not just the death.
A lot of people want to know about his whole career coming up.
It is intriguing.
And everything.
It is kind of intriguing to listen to the story of his death, though. So they are kind of capitalizing on that in a way, in my opinion. A lot of people will buy the DVD just to see what they say.
Yeah, but then there's a lot of people that would be more interested in just exactly how he come up to the dungeon and with, all the hearts and all of that.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good.
Did you hear the rumor that, one more TNA note, Chris Hero was backstage at the tapings, but they said he was there visiting friends. But I would not be surprised to see Chris Hero come back in some form to TNA, Global Force, ROH something.
I could see that.
One of my last notes is that I finally found out that ROH is running 4 joint productions with New Japan between Tuesday and Saturday night, which is today. They're doing War of the Worlds Part 1 and 2 and Global Wars Part 1 and 2. War of the Worlds is a live event only, where Global Wars will be broadcast on an iPay-per-view on the internet. The main events are Bullet Club versus Team ROH the first night in an 8-man tag, and then Bullet Club versus Chaos in a 6-man tag. Nakamura, the guy you talked about, he'll be taking on Roderick Strong in the main event of the second as well. So that should be interesting for any ROH fans out there. I don't get to see much ROH.
No, that'd be good.
I need to really start checking out more ROH lately. I like them running with these New Japan shows.
They got Saban and Kazarian and all them now.
And that's funny because, these guys like Carl Anderson and Gallows that work for New Japan, are they able to run are they able to appear for ROH too as well as Global Force? I'm pretty sure. Nick and Matt Jackson as well, because it seems like they're under contract but they're still working for New Japan.
Right.
But they're affiliated so they can use them as superstars.
Exactly.
And put them on the roster. So, I think that's all the news and notes I have, man. I really... Oh, yeah, Sting made a rare appearance at WWE Comic-Con in Philly.
He's supposed to be come one in Illinois here up in...
Oh,
or something, so I thought about... That'd be cool to go. I think Undertaker may supposed to be there.
I almost missed some major notes, dude. Steve Austin said he's pretty sure he'll be at WrestleMania 32 in some interview he did. I was really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And also the big one, Hideo Itami has a shoulder injury, could be out 6 to 8 months. Right. I will let people know more on that. Chronochord C-Dub did a video on him too. He could be out of the NXT TakeOver match. He's expected to miss it, so 6 to 8 months, man. You got Sami.
I think Jimmy Wayne Yang gonna be perfect to come in there now, just so they have a Japanese guy to work with.
So you got Daniel Bryan, Hideo Itami, Sami Zayn, and Alex Riley all out, man, right now. And Kevin Owens just coming back from an injury. I seen he worked a live event. That's a
I
good
don't
sign.
think Riley will be gone too long.
Right.
It didn't sound too bad.
Okay, so I'm kind of going through here and seeing if I have any last notes that I didn't hit.
I got just one.
Yeah, go ahead and read any that you have.
Rousey's going to be on the front cover of Sports Illustrated.
Oh, yeah, I seen that. Is she posing nude for them, I heard?
There were some, I don't know if nude pictures, but...
Well, I think in some way or form or another she is.
Yeah.
I think I seen some kind of headline. She's not posing like nude like she's in Playboy.
Like not in the picture part, but she was probably nude when they took the picture.
Right. That's what I'm saying, like laying down or something where you can't really see. But
right.
Yeah, they asked her about it. I seen that. Yeah. Anything else?
No.
I want to see Ronda Rousey. She did, and Stephanie did bring up Ronda Rousey on that Jericho podcast. I wanted to.
She did.
So, what'd you think of that? You did get to listen to that, and also, what's your opinion on the WWE 24 with Reigns that you didn't see last week?
I thought it was actually really good.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back, and he does go through quite a bit of stuff,
Yeah, he does.
Where he's at.
You really get a feel for his life on there.
It's not like he just went straight from football straight into wrestling and, straight up to NXT. It wasn't nothing like that.
Right. It wasn't. It really shows you his struggling journey, and
it's a lot harder than you think. Just because you're a wrestler's kid doesn't mean you're entitled to.
It helps being a wrestler's kid.
It helps, but
it's a foot in the door. But you still got to be good.
You got to put the work in.
And those Samoans, man, their work ethic is just a cut above the rest.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to in the ring.
I think he's going to eventually be good. It's just going to take a little time.
Yep, I do too, man. And I think I've hit all my notes if you don't have anything else, man.
No, I'm good to go.
I did see that Kevin Owens fought Solomon Crow for the main event at an NXT Live event. So Solomon Crow getting in on the main event picture with some injuries, I think. Which I'd like to see that.
He needs to be on TV a little more.
Yep. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to episode 26. I want to say shout out to C-Dub from Chronochord Media. Make sure you check him out in the link below. Shout out to Mitch Mitchell. Hope he gets into Tough Enough. I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuned in and subscribed and liked us on Facebook lately. And if you haven't, do it, please. We would really appreciate it. Any comments, questions, leave them for us on Facebook or YouTube here. And I just want to thank everybody for watching and say peace out till episode 27. We'll be doing payback results. Hopefully we get C-Dub on here. Jason probably will be on here next week too, so shout out to him. Jeff, peace out, man.
Yeah, peace out. Hope to see everybody on here next week.
All right, later, guys.